Okay, so the purpose of this video is to go over an OPC server or driver. It's called the S7A driver. It's specifically intended for S7 PLCs where you want to have an OPC tag database between Ifix and an S7 PLC, as I said. Now it facilitates a whole series of connection types, right? It can be over MPI or over TCP/IP or whatever. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do two quick videos. One is going to be on the S7 side, and then the other then is going to be on the it's going to be on the Ifix side. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Semantic Manager, and I've done a whole series of other videos, and this is the Digital I/O program. Right, it's one of the early S7 videos. So I'm going to go over this program first, very quickly. It just says OB1, which is the main program. Then it has FB1 and 1 data block. Right, so literally just OB1. It's just opened up in SCL. Right, so simply put, it's just calling FB1, loading data block 1 into it. Right, so just shut that guy down. Then we have FB1, and this is just really simple ladder logic, right? So what I have is a series of inputs and outputs being triggered by either inputs themselves or by either values, basically bit types in the data block 1, right? So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm just going to show the hardware setup that I have here, right? So what I have is this is a 312C, and this is a really basic low-powered S7 300, and then it has an integrated digital input and output module, and then we have also an analog input module which can take 2 channels, right? So I have a small breadboard here which allows me then to trigger the inputs and then see whether the outputs are working as well. Also what I have then is, this is the most important thing, it's Semantic Net CP for Industrial Ethernet, a CP343, and this guy then is going to be used with the S7A driver as well, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a PC-PG interface first, right, which is this guy down here, right? So it's going to be actually directly into the CPU itself over MPI, as I said. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the road where I'm actually using the CP343, as in this PLC can be accessed over an actual LAN, right? So anyway, this program right here, as you can see, you've got a number of different data blocks, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up an actual monitor table itself, right? And I'm going to make sure that I can just go online, no problem at all. Okay, so we're totally fine. So what I want to do for the purposes of this video on the S7 side, I just want to show you I have just an input going in. So as soon as I have this guy triggered, as you'll see, 01 up there, right? What it's doing is it's triggering a DB1 bit with the bit address 60. Right, it's triggering that guy on. And then also, if we go back to our actual program as well, we'll see that there's actual outputs that can be triggered by actual bits going high themselves as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the S7 side here, as I said, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create forms in Ifix where I have an indicator and then I have a button, right? So that's a really simple way to just show, right, I have my program in the PLC, I have my my input and I have my output, and then I have my tag database with the S7A driver, and then I'm on the Ifix side, and then I have my database there again, right? And if you can send a digital input and you can receive, you know, if you can basically send and receive digital inputs and outputs, then you're completely in a position then to literally understand the bit in the middle, and then you can jump onto analog inputs and all that kind of stuff, and then you can focus on the scripting side, and then you can also just focus on the PLC side itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the S7A driver, right? So what I have here, I'm going to go into much more detail on this, but I want to be very quick on the S7 side. I'm literally just have a local server here, so it means that I'm not accessing the S7A driver from any far off place. And this is the power tool that comes with it, right? So in this you can set up all of these different channels. I have a PC-PG interface set up here. I am just very quickly, it can be any of those. You'll see that you have various MPI and industrial Ethernet interfaces, right? What I have here then is the actual PC adapter MPI. It's the USB PC-PG interface that you generally get. I have something set up here. I just called it an S7 300. That's my device name. I literally just some parameters about where the CPU is on the rack. I'm expecting that you have a certain amount of knowledge, or you followed the other videos I've done on the S7 300. And then I just literally refer to a data block in itself, right? I'll go through all of these parameters in much more detail, but what I'm just going to simply do here is I'm going to go into data monitor, right? So if you take a look here, I've got a starting address here of 1, I've got the data block selected as the memory area. Remember DB1 all the way over here. I'm monitoring DB1 and its values, right, through a variable table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into data monitor. It can be seen. Now you can actually add variables manually, but I'm going to be very quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add load in a variable table in itself. This variable table is something that you just simply create, right, with the S7A Power Tool. And what I can do is I'm going to actually press, and you can see the screen as well yourself. I'm going to press and trigger this input here, and then we'll see that DB16 actually triggers. And there we go. It's gone from a 0 to a 1 and then back again. And we can see that the variable table went high. There we are. So that is basically the S7A Power Tool between the S7 PLC and itself. And then I'm going to do another quick video on the actual Ifix itself. It's going to be Ifix 4.5 between the S7A Power Tool and bringing in all your values and all that kind of stuff.